So today we're speaking with a business owner. It's Erin Bull of Black Bull Electrical, which he's been operating for nearly 20 years now. And you're located in the inner west of the Melbourne suburbs, Erin, and you offer both domestic and commercial electrical services. And, you've built a really great reputation around that sort of quality of service and being reliable, which I can personally vouch for. But, outside of that, what else are you, passionate about?
Thanks, Kirrily. Yeah, I suppose for a long period of time, I grew up in a trade family, so it was pretty obvious from a young age I was going to move into a trade section. So I've always been involved with other trades, building, renovation. So I suppose one of my side passions is renovations. I've done a lot of renovations over the years, and also family. I've got a young family, so I'm married with wife after 15 years, and we have 3 young kids. So Scarlett 13, Indiana 11, Cash 6. So we're in that busy life cycle at the moment. And then outside of that, I try and keep active, keep fit. It's always been another strong passion of me, going to the gym, as well as the renovating and the business.
Fantastic. Now, we've known each other for a few years, and last year we had the opportunity to start doing a little bit of work together on a passion project that you have.
Yep.
And this was something that was kind of sitting there for a little while. That was kind of, I think, on a bit of a wish list, wasn't it, to something that you always wanted to do. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, it was sitting there for a while.
How long was that?
Yeah, well, possibly 10 years maybe. I was really wanting to do it. So... and the itch was there, and I suppose the moment, the time was right, and obviously a little bit of support from you as well, a bit of a nudge, and so last year we finally brought to life this Backyard Blitz that I was keen to start and do. So yeah.
And so what is this Backyard Blitz about? Like what was the intention of it?
Yeah, the original intention was just to help someone in need, was doing it tough, and just needed a bit of help, I suppose. And I knew like I just said before, with the renovation skills and obviously being in the trade industry and knowing a lot of people, I knew that I could help and knew I could probably make this work, as well as just more trying to put it all together. We did focus locally over in the western suburbs near Yarraville, it just started with, the idea was there for a long time, but we sort of go, right, now's the time, let's really try and make this happen.
Yeah, great. And what do you think was there behind just wanting to help somebody in your local community? Was there something that was, that was there for you about why you wanted to do that you're aware of?
I suppose I wanted to do something that was non-business related and more from probably a personal point of view of really being able to help someone who didn't have those skills or just didn't have the time or was restricted with other means, whether they just were caring for someone or they had their own hardship problems. So I just felt like I wanted to utilise my skills and people in my network skills to help someone, and that's, I suppose, it wasn't any more complicated than that. And I had been involved with other projects over time from organisations I was involved in, but it was something I really wanted to try and start off my own bat and just sort of get people involved. That was the main idea. Yeah.
And so did it sort of evolve to having some other motivations for doing it as well, or were there other things that you thought that would support you or your business in doing this?
I suppose on the back of it can have a lot of effects in regards to, it helps meet people, helps network with other people. It helps with awareness, I suppose, with people, your business. Business people associate your business with this and think, oh, well, they're good, doing good things, and that was a bonus. But and also internally, with our team, like it just our team got to do something together out of hours, non-work related, that also helps build culture as well.
Yeah. I'd love to explore some of these things because I think there were a lot of things that sort of showed up after the fact, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was
a lot
of stuff that I was not aware of or realised until afterwards, and how many key little benefits that not only me but a lot of people got out of it.
Yeah, great. So let's maybe explore some of those things. You were talking about, sort of like your brand or your business recognition. That was one of those things that was a benefit or, something that you experienced after. Can you give us an example of how that
it was a number of things. I suppose a natural thing we did is we went to suppliers that we work with and we said, look, we're doing this. Do you want to be involved? And it'd be good if you could help out. And so that was good in one sense of helping building closer relationships with your suppliers. We even went to clients as well. So we knew certain clients that had certain skills that we go, well, this could help. And also then the clients looked at it and go, look, it's great what you're doing. We want to help. And so I suppose it helps build a better relationship with your clients and also a level of respect and what you're doing there, and also crossover as well with external people that didn't even know us as well. So that they saw what we're doing and they just reached out to us and says, we like what you're doing, we want to be involved. So
that's fantastic.
It ended up being a great conversation starter in a sense. Probably is another thing as well. A lot of good little things
that came out of it. And what was the result when you actually had invited your team to also be involved? Because you, I believe that you just extended it as an invitation. It wasn't something they had to do.
Yeah, I never wanted them to feel like they had to do it because it probably was personally driven by me. And I went to them and I said, look, I'm doing this. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. Be great if you can be involved. It's on this date, and you're not obligated to do it because it is on a Saturday out of work hours, and it is volunteer work we're doing. The response was amazing. Like every one of them said, yep, 100% want to do this. Great, what you're doing. And obviously there's an alignment with values there that they saw it and go, yep, that matches what we're wanting to do. And straight away the response there was surprising. I didn't expect it.
Yeah, 100% take up from your own team.
Yeah, which is a good sign.
Yeah, it is. It's brilliant. So tell us about how did you choose the person and, how did the project actually evolve to happen on the day?
So we decided to run a competition. Obviously had you involved with that, helped prepare that because I didn't really know how to go about that. So we created an application form and then we tried to just spread it through social media channels. And then we went through a few different channels locally through a local friend of mine, Andy, did a podcast as well. So we went through that and it seemed to then just really jump off and take off. And then, the applications were a lot. Like we had over 10, which was kind of good in one sense, but it got real hard then to try and pick. Yeah. Because then reading all the stories, I'm like, well, there's more than one person you could help here. So, and then we just narrowed it down. And when I got to this one particular one, when I read, I kind of knew, okay, this person is the one that needs help. She's had a horrible run, what she's doing, and it really fits to how we can help.
Yeah. And I know that you're doing this with her permission. Could you tell us a little bit around her circumstances, just to why you chose her to do the project with? Yeah. So her name was Jennifer, and nominated through her friend Lisa. So Lisa was the one who was keen to help her out because of what she'd been through. So she recently lost her husband through illness, who had been battling for quite some time, and she had a number of other things she was dealing with. Her daughter just had a baby who was and she was having some sort of
issues there that needed some time, and so then stepped in to help out the oldest boy, so her grandson. So then she's managing the grandson. So she was just busy. So she's was in retirement age, but she was probably in the busy stage of the life like that I'm in right now.
Yeah.
So and she was doing a great job. But she just didn't have time to give her house some love, and her backyard, front yard was just, and also to her husband was the handyman, you know. So he did all the stuff around the house. So it all sort of stopped, and it was a bit sort of hard for her too, because the reminder as well. So when she'd look at stuff, she knew that her husband was half working on that or had done that, and so it fitted perfectly in a sense. The more I read the story, I'm like, yep, you're the one. We're going to do something. I don't know what we're going to do, because it's the first one. I didn't actually really know.
Yeah.
I didn't have a manual book on this, and so I'm like, we're going to do something.
Yeah, great. So from that, when you decided that you wanted to work with Jennifer, what kind of happened then? What were the next sort of steps?
Well, obviously the first thing was letting her know, which was a pretty amazing experience that I don't think I'll ever forget, because I originally called Lisa and I told her, and she was like she was crying straight away. So then I called Jen, and she thought it was a joke at the start, and I said, "No, you're the one. Lisa's nominated you, and we're going to help you out." So, which was, she was just bawling her eyes out in joy, and then we organised to catch up. So my wife and I went round and met her and did a bit of a scope of the house, and it was a little bit probably overwhelming because she was in this predicament for a reason, and we're like, we've got some work to do here, and kind of from that, it then made me go, right, this is, I suppose the small idea went to a big idea. I'm like, we can really try and make an impact here, and it just kind of made me want to try harder, I suppose, because once I knew the story, listened to her, saw the property, and I felt a little bit invested, I suppose. I'm like, went away from there and tried to start putting it together.
Yeah. And what actually happened when you started to, you got that plan, there's all these different things that you're realising, there's stuff going on internally, there was gardens, there was things to repair and replace. You had to, I suppose, go out and source all of those things and make all of that happen. And what sort of happened as a result of that?
I suppose the first thing we did was made a wish list of the property, and then sort of worked backwards from there, because the wish list was probably a little bit more than one day's work. And then I suppose I went back from there and I go, right, who do I need for this, and what supplier can possibly help with this? I suppose the support I was receiving made it easier, because I had a lot more people saying yes, 100% want to help.
Yeah.
So it just grew from there, I suppose, because that wish list, I was able to tick a lot of things off that that I didn't think would be possible.
And is that, I suppose, one of the lessons that you've learned? Because, in what I saw, there was a lot of businesses and people that sort of jumped on board to support. And at the end of the day, there was a big crew there, right?
Yeah.
So, what was, I suppose, a lesson that you learned from that?
It doesn't hurt to ask. So, I think that's the key to it. If you're scared to ask people or tell people that do they want to get involved in, so I think the key question there is you've got to ask, and I suppose it's the same with any charities or organisations. It starts by asking, and then I also think when you find people that have similar values, it becomes real easy, because it's like a connection to them. Like it's they're just they don't even finish my pitch,
and they're jumping on.
Yeah, they've
on
already
board.
said yep, I'm in.
Yeah.
I said, I haven't even told you the full story yet. No, just tell me what you need. So that made it easy, and when it made it easy, it flowed, I suppose, and then you gain a little bit of momentum as well, and motivation to try and go a bit further.
And so what was the sort of tally in the end? Because how many volunteers did you have? How much, money did you raise and goods in services
Yeah.
to
So
support in the day?
I think in total we had about just over 20 businesses involved, which was pretty good, way more than I expected. On the day, I think we had over 45 volunteers that helped out on the day. So we started pretty early at 6 o'clock and finished at 6. So I think it was a solid 12-hour day. And then so we had people come and go. That some people could only do a few hours, and some people stayed the whole time, which was amazing. We had people that had not really done labour work before, but were keen to get involved.
Yeah.
I had a local organisation who does cooking for sort of charities or people in need, and they came and helped cooked for the day for us, for the volunteers, which is pretty great. And yeah, we probably we ended up raising about just over $5,000 as well, which has helped purchase a lot of stuff that we couldn't get supplied. So we're able to just invest more in some of these areas where I couldn't find supplies. And I think in total it was probably around $60,000-$70,000 worth of labour and material and appliances and gear that we actually put into the house in one day, which was amazing, really. Like, it's just and it was chaos. Like, it was organised chaos, and but the vibe was good. It didn't feel like a work day. There was lots of people that were happy. So yeah, and the street was involved as well, because I had obviously let the street know that we were probably going to ambush their street for the day. And they were great too, because a lot of them knew Jen and knew her story, so they were actually helped get on board as well, which was really good.
What was the response from Jenny when she actually did come back home and she saw everything that, was done on her house?
Yeah, that was priceless. She drove in and my wife sort of guided her in, and obviously we did not just the backyard, even though it was called a Backyard Blitz, but it was probably more of a property blitz, because we did the front yard, the backyard, side of the house, inside of the house. So yeah, we brought her in through the front and sort of did the tour through the house, because we not only managed outside works, but we redesigned her lounge room, her main master bedroom. So we actually took out her bed, took out her furniture, got rid of it. We brought in new furniture in the lounge room and in the bedroom. So we redesigned her whole bed, which was something she'd wanted to do for a long time, and because there was a few things we noted down that she said, and we added that to the list. So that was, by this stage, she's pretty well crying. She gets through the kitchen, so we did heaps of work in the kitchen. We repainted the kitchen, new lighting, all new paint. Did her grandson's bedroom, we painted that, and new bed too. New bed went in there as well, and then took her out to the backyard, which is where we did most of the work and where everyone was hiding. Everyone was out the back. And as she come out, so it was, she was just probably in shock, really. Like, she just, because obviously she didn't know what to expect, and it was a pretty good, priceless experience.
Yeah, and I know you keep in touch with her now. How does she talk about it now?
I didn't know at the time, but her grandson was in the same year and same school as my son as well. So I'd probably walked past her before that a heap of times and never noticed. And then, so I quite often run into her and see her, and it's, every time I see her, I just get this big smile from her that sort of just obviously just reminds her of the situation. And she's quite often said to me, she goes, and she told me this when I first rang her to tell her, and she said, I went out to my backyard and basically looked up to the sky and said, please just give me a break, just give me some hope. And she said literally a couple of weeks later, I rang her about the news, so which is pretty cool and great timing. And I think it's just given her a lot of self-belief, a lot of hope. And she said it just reinforced the fact that there's good people out there, because I think she lost a little bit of hope for a while, and she said it's just really changed her whole attitude towards life and people, which is pretty cool.
It is pretty cool, isn't it?
To come out of that.
Yeah, that's great. And so now, reflecting back, it's been, sort of a good, 8 months since that Backyard Blitz. Can you tell us about some of the things you mentioned before about having, that better brand recognition for your business in the local community, which was part of the intent, was, raising awareness. How's that showed up? What are some examples of how that showed up for you?
In a lot of little ways. Like it's a hard one to measure, brand awareness or just recognition, or so I think, and it was sometimes it'd be the smallest things, like some of my guys that work for me would go into a cafe to get a coffee or something, and one of them would be wearing the shirt, and the cafe owner or someone would reach out and go, "You're the guy off the Backyard Blitz," and so it just created this really positive connection and recognition.
And you mentioned to me before there was also a particular instance with a customer. There's somebody that actually reached out to you because she'd seen the promotion about the Backyard Blitz, and she actually came and became involved and volunteered on the day.
Yeah, we had a few instances where, especially early on, when we announced the competition, and then we had a lady ring up that was looking for an electrician, but also just the first thing she wanted, she goes, "I see what you're doing, it's great, I want to get involved," and I'd never met her before, and she goes, "I think it's great, and I also I've got some volunteers that will help," and so it just created this good talking point straight off the bat, and as well, and then they came on the day, and she had some young volunteers who helped, and so yeah, and then we had other people who even post the Backyard Blitz, like they just would ring up and say, "Oh, look, we've seen what you've done. We want to use you for some work or whatever," or just even be down the street and it's just a conversation starter, or to someone that I didn't even realise would know. And so yeah, it was kind of overwhelming a little bit, but I think it just shows that if you do some good things, people are really keen to be involved and get on board, or just recognise it.
Yeah. And you had a particular client, Helen, I believe, that you did some work with as a result of her seeing, what you were doing with the Backyard Blitz, and that particular job didn't sort of go 100% on, how you intended.
Yeah. Not every job goes to plan, and sometimes things go wrong, and that's just life or people. And we had an incident where we probably weren't able to deliver on exactly what she wanted, and there was a little bit of conflict there, but because we had other parties involved that she wasn't so happy with, and she goes, "Erin, I respect you a lot for what you've done, and I don't believe, I get this has happened," and we were able to resolve it really well, and everyone was, mutually able to walk away from the situation. But I think it just allowed that situation where it could have went a little bit pear-shaped, or someone walked away unhappy. But I think it just, because there was a mutual respect there, it helped work through it. And
it happens in business, it happens in life, where things don't go to plan, but having those really strong foundations where, as you said before, those values, that's what it was based on, that your values were being worn on your sleeves. So
people look for that alignment as well. So I think, and that's one thing I probably learnt and realised as well, how much when people know there's an alignment there, it makes it so much easier. Like a lot of people don't know people's behind the scenes or why they do things, and I think it's a great way to express who you are and what you do. And then and I also think a lot of people have liked the idea that they can get involved, because as I said, it's not easy to try and start something. So if someone can say, "Oh, I can see you're doing that, I'd love to jump on board," and So it created a platform for people to be able to step up and get involved.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point, because I think quite often it's a desire that's there for people, isn't it? That, you know, they want it, like you, right? It was sitting there in the background for years and years and years, and it was just about having that opportunity. And it sounds like that's what really showed up, is that when you provided that opportunity to your staff, to your suppliers, to people in the community, they were more than happy to jump on board and support that. And probably, I think it was a good segue in regards to talking about what are some of those things that, you know, stopped you originally from actually doing this project. What can you see things now that sort of, when you're reflecting back, what were the things that kind of had you stopped and not being able to do this? You know, if it's been sitting there for nearly 10 years, what was in the road for you?
Like any business owner, time is always a tough one. Time and because you're busy within your business, and you know, it does take a lot of time to try and create something like this and run it. Also, not knowing where to start was another big one for me. Like, the idea was there, but that's probably the easy part. It's go, how do I put this into action? Where do I start? What if it doesn't work? What if it comes across wrong? So then I just probably lowered my expectation with it, and got some help, which obviously got yourself, helped me along the way and just poked me, you got to go to the next stage of doing this. So I think that was the key. Yeah, I think it's, at the end of the day, if you just got to do something. If you do something, then you've done. It's a tick.
Yeah, it's just about getting started and taking that first step, that baby step. Yeah, that's great. And so, what would you say worked well in the project overall?
I suppose a number of things early on, when we're trying to get some the word out there for the applications. It was probably a bit slow trying to spread it out. We didn't quite know how to because we wanted to make sure everyone could see it, to have an opportunity. And then once we did a podcast of Andy from Other Good News in the local area in Yarraville, and we, similar to this, I just said, look, we're doing this, and we want people to apply. So anyone knows someone, and it kind of just from there, because it came from a different person other than myself, it just had huge traction from there.
And he's got a very strong reputation in that local community, and has good reach with his podcast, and it sounds like that sort of really gave it credibility, because there was a few people that were a little skeptical, weren't there? You know, in comments on Facebook groups and things like that.
Yep. Yeah, they thought it was more of a sales technique, and
building your database. Or
something. Exactly. Yeah, so when it came from a different angle, a different person, it had a lot more backing to it, and it got that part going. And
so, was there anything that you would do differently now? So, if you were, what are the things that didn't work so well, or you would do differently? Because you want to do this again, and people have expressed that they would love to be involved again.
Yeah, I definitely would love to do it again. It is on my list as well, and a lot of people have already said, which makes it easier than the year before, because they've already put their hand up, so definitely helps. But I think like, if organisation on a day, that's something you can always fine tune, and I suppose post-event is trying to maximise that, because we did a lot of photography and video work. Yeah, I don't know. I think, like as I said before, I didn't have any high expectation. I wanted to have a result. There's a few things we couldn't get done that we ran out of, or were short on things, but we end up getting it rectified and going back the week later, because it was the one thing I said. So I don't want to leave. If something's not finished, I still want to come back. Like, it's not a one. It is, bulk of it is one day, but so we went back the next week and tidied a few things up, and which just finished it off a little bit. Like, we had the lawn. I didn't measure the lawn right, so I was short on that. And I went back to the supplier and I said, look, I made a mistake on the measurements of the lawn. I'm happy to pay for it. And they said, no, it's all right. It's great what you did. So
Yeah. And what were some of the other ways that businesses actually supported?
Yeah, we had a number of different ways. Look, as I said before, the cafes getting involved. We had some trades that donated their times and some of their product to help do things. We had suppliers, as I mentioned before, who were able to donate supplies. And then we just had people, or we had some gardeners as well that got involved and just, just people that didn't have skills but were able to do heaps of work. There was lots of non-skilled work that needed to get done. We had a big skip bin that needed to get filled. It was amazing how, and it sort of just showed me as well how you could really, if you wanted to, you could go a lot bigger with it. But it was more just trying to make an impact for one person or one family, and that was a tick from our end.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So, Erin, what would be your one golden nugget for other small business owners that might, that are listening to this, and if they're thinking about doing something like this, or and haven't yet got started, what would be the one golden nugget that you would like them to be left with for today?
Yeah, I think if you try and sit on it too long and try and have this plans of doing something big, it becomes a bit too complicated, and then you tend to probably not do anything. So I think one of the things I've learnt with this is it's lower the expectation, because there's so many charities, so many organisations, donations, and I think everyone gets a little bit sort of overwhelmed with a lot of them and thinking that you need to do something big to make a difference. And I think with this, it wasn't about doing something big. It was about changing someone's life for a day, whether that was longer than a day. It wasn't a goal of mine, but it was for one day to make a difference. I think it's just a matter of just do something and don't overcomplicate it. Anything you do that's good will have an impact.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming in and sharing your story. It was, it was definitely one of the highlights for my year last year, being involved with that. And I hope that other, businesses are also inspired to get started.
Thanks, Kirrily. I think it's been, you were part of it and you helped. You were there on the day and you saw it, and you were definitely a key reason to help me make it happen as well, because as I said before, that started, didn't really know what I was doing. You helped me sort of create a bit of a path and steps, so be forever grateful for that, because I don't actually think I would have been stuck in that mode of too scared to go all the way with it, so appreciate that.
Absolute honour. Thank you.
Thanks.